And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Let's get to the super thanks from last week. And as always, the title of the video comes from a question in the super thanks. Shout out to Snug Chamberlain 9986. But let's get right into this. First up, shout out to @Vernon Lee Warren. This is from the video about the ridiculous beef between Shannon Sharpe and Shaq. And he says, thanks, my brother. The name of that video is How Michael Jordan and the Bulls won 6 out of 6 in the NBA Finals in 9 hours. Channel name, Free Dawkins. I also hope that you will get around to reading or listening to the book, Michael Jordan, The Life. Is really going to open your eyes a lot about Michael Jordan, and you will be able to make endless videos about his basketball career going all the way back to his high school years. Shout out to Vernon Lee Warren. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. And yeah, so I actually found a video. I saw when you put this comment up. So I actually found a video and have started watching it, and am very much looking forward to doing some content. Just watching that 91 finals with the Bulls and the Lakers, rewatching it. Very eye-opening, and I feel like it's a lot that needs to be talked about, because there's a lot of narratives about that series that I think are just not true. But again, normally coming from the ridiculous LeBron James fanboys and the media, who are always looking for a way to tear down the legacy of Michael Jordan. But so I started watching it, like I said, and there will be definitely several videos coming out about that series. But shout out to @Vernon Lee Warren. Next up, shout out to Snug Chamberlain 9986 with the $2 super thanks. This comes from my LeBron James wishes he was as competitive as Michael Jordan video. And he says, thanks. Shout out to you, my guy. Shout out to Angry Old Hoops and Dreamers Pro. You guys are the truth, not Paul Pierce. I've got 3 points I like your insight on. Says, I saw an interview with Indiana alumni Larry Bird. Obviously, he's from Indiana. Also, Reggie Miller. We know he played for the Pacers. And Isaiah Thomas. He went to Indiana College. And during the interview, Larry Bird said something I totally disagree with. Matter of fact, this particular comment made him go down in my book. He says that everybody is whining about LeBron James, and we need to appreciate him and what he's doing while he's here. And he said that LeBron James is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, to play the game. I thought that was completely ridiculous for him to say. I guess he fell into the media trap and now is forced to call LeBron the GOAT because he's heard it so much. But Larry Bird has fallen down in my standing after I heard that. So what do you think on Common Sense about Larry Bird and his comment? Do you see him in the same light, or does it differ a little bit for you? What the hell has Larry Bird been watching for the past 20 years, especially the last 5 years with LeBron James? What do you think? Okay, so I remember when this story was going around, and I think I meant to do a video on it, but I never got around to it. But yeah, so I'm gonna say, let me start by saying this. As far as a basketball player, Larry Bird will never go down in my book, unless something dramatic happens in today's basketball world in terms of a player being worthy. But Larry Bird will forever be in my top 5 because, I just think the society that we live in is not going to create players worthy of taking one of my top 5 spots. But as far as what he said, does it change the way I view him as a person? Not really. Now, I probably didn't do a video because I really don't know how to take this. I feel like you have to take in consideration who the person is when they say it. For instance, Michael Jordan, I remember they asked him about Bron and Kobe. And Michael Jordan basically said 5 championships beat however many championships LeBron James had at the time. And, you know, one would think for the competitor of a level of Michael Jordan, LeBron James would be a disgust to the game of basketball. But if you know Michael Jordan, if you followed him, if you listen to the way he talks in interviews, Michael Jordan always looks for the positive. And Michael Jordan accepts what is. So while, you know, Michael Jordan made the prediction a long time ago that this would happen, that players would be getting so much money that they don't feel the need to earn it, that they think they've already arrived. Michael Jordan said this years and years ago. But Michael Jordan is also the kind of person who just looks for the positive in most things. And so, you know, it doesn't make me look, and who knows how Michael Jordan feels about LeBron. If he could say it without fear of it getting out to the masses, who knows what he thinks. You know, if you ever got to sit down and have a one-on-one and say, MJ, what do you think? What do you really think about LeBron James? What do you really think about the flopping and all this stuff? You know, I would be curious to hear that. And the same goes for Larry Bird. Like, Larry Bird is it seems, you know, from what I've read about him, from interviews I've seen, from other people, players talking about him, like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird seems like a player who very much kind of keeps to himself. And, you know, I'm sure he's not all over social media. So, you know, if you are that kind of person, that means probably outside of watching some games, and who knows how much Larry has watched LeBron play, especially in the last few years. But, you know, outside of watching him play some games, probably what your most exposure is, you know, the media, these major sport network who are promoting these, you know, who are showing LeBron James highlights without ever talking about his lowlights. So I could see for a person who is not really fully engaged in the basketball scene, and who knows, I'm speculating here, that I can see you having that kind of perspective potentially. Again, I would really like to know. To me, it's really hard to say unless you are able to sit down and actually have a conversation with Larry Bird with no lights, no camera, and say, Larry, what do you really think about LeBron James? You know, that's what I would be curious to hear. But like I said, as far as affecting the way I see Larry as a basketball player, it doesn't affect that part at all. Because I feel like we have to separate, you know, we have to be able to separate what people's opinions are from what that person has done, you know, for basketball. The same way that, you know, Michael Jordan obviously doesn't like Isaiah Thomas, but he still has him as the second greatest point guard. I feel like, you know, just because I don't like you as a person, just because you say something unfavorable, that doesn't change what Bird did as a basketball player. Like I said, and you know, to me, I just take it unless I could talk to Larry Bird one-on-one somehow and really I would really be curious to know what a lot of these 90s players, early 2000s players, you know, if you could get them behind closed doors, I would really like to know what is their unfiltered, honest opinion of LeBron James. But anyway, let's move on to the next question. Next, he says, which version of Michael Jordan three-peat do you like the most or best? 91 through 93 or 96 through 98? 91 through 93, Jordan was very athletic. He lived in the air, had an arsenal of moves to score on monster defenders. Let's not forget that. In the 98 through 96 finals, Jordan was less athletic, but very surgical with his jump shot and defense. He was straight to the point. He didn't need many moves to beat primarily jump shooting, but still can pull athletic moves out of his bag. His name was called Black Cat at the time because he was very quick, according to Kobe Bryant, who was in high school. So what do you think, and what's your favorite version? Now, you're asking my favorite version. That would be hard to say. That would be hard to say, because like I've said, to me, the second three-peat, Jordan was in his mental prime. But if we're talking about from entertainment value, I would probably have to say the first three-peat was my favorite from entertainment value. Because like I said, you got to think, in the 91 finals, it seemed like in that first three-peat, Jordan was out to prove not only his dominance, but that he was as good in every way as every superstar player. Like I said, for instance, 91 finals, playing against Magic Johnson, the greatest passer in the history of the game, and Michael Jordan averages 11 assists in that finals. Magic Johnson only averaged one more assist than Michael Jordan in that finals. Then the next finals against the Blazers, when we all know the whole comparison between him and Clyde Drexler, and them saying that Drexler was a better three-point shooter. So he goes and breaks the three-point record, for three-pointers in a half or something. So, and then, we have against Phoenix Suns when Charles Barkley won the MVP. In that series, Michael Jordan averages over 40-something points per game. So Michael Jordan in that first three-peat seemed to be very much on a mission to shut down any comparisons. And so we got a lot of great moments. Again, going back to that first three-peat, but he had the layup, the jump in the 91 finals, he had the layup, the jump in the air, start off with the right hand, switch to the left hand. And then something else people don't talk about is when he hit that layup, that was his 13th shot in a row. That was his 13th shot in a row. And I believe he went like 15 for 18 in that game as well. And so, he was doing a lot of incredible things in that first three-peat that was just, from an entertainment value, he was kind of setting his legacy as the mythical person that he became, because of all the things he was doing in those finals. By the second three-peat, it felt like the finals were more of a grind. He was a little older. Again, the athleticism had waned some, and especially when you're talking about by the 97 and 98 finals, the older players, they were starting to decline. You could see it. So the second three-peat felt like more of a grind. So I would say the entertainment value was less, but again, the stakes were high and the intensity was there. But like I said, as far as entertainment value, I feel like the first three-peat, Michael Jordan was just like, just doing the most incredible things in each of those series. So yeah, I would choose the first three-peat as my favorite. And last but not least, he says, lastly, I want to ask you about Scottie Pippen and Penny Hardaway. If both were in their primes, who would you choose and why? They both have the similar height. They both were great defenders. I don't think Penny gets enough credit, especially for his defense early on. Scottie Pippen always used to attack the hole with this one-handed tomahawk jam that was so patented. And of course, we know Penny could shoot, pass, defend. I mean, the guy could do it all just like Pippen could do it all. So who do you think has the edge in this particular comparison? I'm going to have to say Penny all day. And I'm going to say this for two reasons. Again, because I think Scottie Pippen only became who he was because of Michael Jordan. Like, I really believe that. If Scottie had played somewhere else, I don't think we see the top 50 player of all time. The top 75 player of all time. I don't think we see that if he doesn't get to play alongside Michael Jordan. And then at Penny, to me, did we get to see Penny in his prime, really? Before injuries start hampering his career, did we really get to see Penny in his prime? Because I feel like Penny would have been something really special. Again, because to me, Pippen could do it all, but not in the same way that Penny could do it all. I mean, Penny's vision was one of the more closer to Magic Johnson. Penny actually had, to me, special vision on the court. Unlike the false king, who they like to say is a pass first player. Just wanted to throw that in there, fanboys. But yeah, so I would choose Penny every time. I think Penny just had a better offensive game, period. A better offensive game, better passer. It was a good defender, which I think would have increased. But like I said, Penny, I don't think we got to see prime Penny. You know, prime Penny got derailed with injuries so quickly. But yeah, if we're talking about, you know, who I think is much more capable of leading the team, I would choose Penny Hardaway 10 times out of 10 over Scottie Pippen. But anyway, shout out to Snug Chamberlain 9986. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so much for your continued support of the channel. You are always greatly appreciated. And last but not least, this comes from my shit, Nikola Jokic get the blame for losing to the Timberwolves videos. And shout out to Keith Brazil 6909 with the $5 super thanks. And he just simply says thanks and thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank all of you who continue to support the channel. You guys are greatly appreciated. Thank you all who support all of the channels, who are into telling the truth, who are into giving honest takes, and definitely not into promoting false propaganda, which normally false propaganda is either related to LeBron James or the current NBA, which I guess is kind of one and the same since LeBron James is the face of the NBA. But anyway, thank you all so much. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about any of the topics. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.